grew at an annual rate, very strong, 4.2% in the second quarter. Brian Dimitrovic is with us. He's with the Laffer Center for Supply-Side Economics. He's with us now. Brian, that's very strong growth, 4.2%. Is it sustainable?
You bet it's sustainable. When you have tax cuts and deregulation, just enormous amount of capital comes out of the woodwork, particularly from abroad, which is growing much slower than the United States now. So we can expect the global capital flows to sustain this recovery for quite a long time.
When you say sustain the recovery, I'm very insistent on the 4% idea. We're just coming to the end, actually, of the third quarter of the year. Are we going to see 4% growth in this quarter that we're in now?
You know, Stuart, it's only now that the economists at the Atlanta Fed are saying that this quarter's growth is going to be a little bit below 4%, and that's because we really haven't resolved these trade disputes. I mean, there's so much involved in supply chains in the United States, in all sorts of economic activity with international trade. The president promised that the end game behind his trade gambit was to get global tariffs down. If that happens, then we'll get 4% growth every quarter for the next number of years.
And if it doesn't happen...
So this is another little hustle. So this 4% growth is only for one quarter, so they're just identifying the quarter. And the reason why I shared in a Bloomberg video, the reason where we had this kind of amazing growth, and he's covering his, because he's trying to say, hey, is this 4% going to happen in the third quarter, which is not going to happen in Bloomberg. They even said for the month of August, it looked pretty anemic. But the issue is that basically because of this trade war, people are afraid, but people are taking advantage of these tariffs before they hit. So they're buying, companies are buying as much as they can before these tariffs come back, or they even feel like tariffs are going to be worse. So it's going to bring a nice little blip, and that's what Fox and the economic team or whoever is covering this is what they're trying to do, because it's almost impossible to keep this 4% growth when the demand is not there. We have a major issue which they're not talking about, which is debt. Our debt levels are at an all-time high and wages are flat, so people are just not going to be able to spend money, and doing temporary doing tax cuts and temporary stuff that obviously raises our debt level will make our economy look strong in the short term, but long term the tax cuts for most of the people that earn under $80,000 are going to expire, and I do not see us having 4% for this year, or even having another quarter with 4% growth. Now, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, obviously I'll retract it, but I think it's just one quarter that they're going to get this, and they're going to ride it and use it as a way to, hopefully not get not to get crushed in the midterm elections against the Democrats. But I'll be very, very shocked if we hit 4% this year or next year again in a quarter. And I'm pretty sure our average will go back to Obama numbers, which will be 2%. And this is not just me. The Fed and a couple of economists have come up and said this. But let me know your thoughts on this, and I will talk to you guys soon.